So one of the primary things for artificial intelligence or for any new technology these days, you know, what it builds and thrives on is data, right? So data is the new world. So if you see, if you have been a follower of financial world and even top news, some of the most talked about companies in 20 30 years back were Chevron and BP and all those people who had a lot of oil, right? And these were the companies which had the massive market capitalization, a lot of money to kind of play around with, recruit people and stuff, right? If you see the world today as you see it, right, the companies which have the maximum amount of your data, they are the kings, right? They are the corporate champions. You take, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and all these companies have these massive amount of data that they can create products and build products upon. And most of your life you will be playing around at least with 5 or 10 of these products, and without even realizing that uh, these are actual software products which take millions of dollars to set up and create. So data is essentially the new oil, and one of the fastest growing jobs in you know in this sector is around data science, and artificial intelligence is kind of building on top of it, right? So essentially, this is how you will see some of the stuff evolving for you guys as you kind of go ahead and look at the options that you guys see. A lot of these options would be coming out of your understanding of how data is played and stuff. Okay, let me show you a quick demo of a product. I don't know if some of you might have seen it, but let me quickly try and share with you. Product. Let me know if you guys are able to hear the sound. Are you guys able to hear it?
The audio is not clear, son. Can't hear it.
Let me share.
Gonna come a day when you think,
I should record this
Let me know if the
presentation.
audio is
We
clear
should
now.
do a podcast.
A pod what?
I should start a YouTube channel.
I should
Oh,
record.
yes, sir. Now it's audible.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Hey everyone.
And
We're pushing.
I've
I've never
actually-
actually.
Oh my god.
We record a lot of stuff.
yep, you do. But before you share it,
Sent.
I don't like this.
you're gonna want to edit it first.
Uh-oh.
But editing is
Hard, I know. Where do you even start, right? Well, I'll show you where to start. Meet Descript. It's a powerful new tool that makes editing easy. So easy that you'll want to edit videos.
Nice. How does it
Work? Well, first you need some video or audio. If you've already got some, just drag it right into Descript. Wait for it.
Hey guys, welcome to my first YouTube video. Hopefully my little guys don't fall.
Whoa.
What?
Nah.
Yeah, it takes your audio and turns it into text. So when this happens,
Alright guys, I'm going in.
Sweetie.
What?
Dinner.
I'm doing a thing, Mom!
you can cut it out like this.
Okay.
How about that?
But get this, Descript can turn your text back into audio.
I'm pretty sure this is a first edition super rare creature kawaii. I was wrong. It's a 7th edition, more common than water creature kawaii.
It's called Overdub. Just type what you meant to say right into Descript.
I'm pretty sure this is a 7th edition creature kawaii.
And for those who need it, Descript has a screen recorder built right in.
Hey everyone. We're pushing a big update today to our content management system.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop you right there. This is so boring.
I know.
Check it out.
Hey everyone. We're pushing
With a click, you can remove every kind of, like, and whatever the hell that is.
Hey.
So as you guys can see, this is one of a kind of a software which is called Descript. Recently I came across it like 6 months back, but you can just see the power of artificial intelligence that they have built in into a very simple use case, right? Everybody these days is trying to create content, trying to kind of set up their own podcast and stuff. And what these guys are able to do is not only convert audio to text, but at the same point of time what they are able to also do is overdub it, right? So if you have said a sentence wrong, you don't really have to dub it again. You can just change the context, the text on it, and just replay it. And what this software does, it uses its artificial intelligence prowess to kind of simulate your voice with the new content and just overlay it back into the video, right? So that's the power of AI that we are talking about, and that's what is transforming from big corporates leveraging AI to being able to give it to new people, and anybody and everybody like you and me are able to use these kind of software. So that's how AI is actually driving the world today, right? I hope you are looking back at my PowerPoint deck now. So I'll just keep going forward. Okay, so what really is artificial intelligence? So we saw a glimpse of it, in that Descript video. But just to nail it down a little bit or simplify it a little bit, essentially, artificial intelligence is mimicking of problem solving and decision making as a human mind does, right? It's a very simple form of it if you convert it in that way, right? Whether you talk about Descript, whether you talk about Tesla doing it, whether you talk about Google Homes or Google Minis or Alexa, what essentially it is does is it tries to mimic the decision making power of human mind. Now AI is very wide, right? So there are multiple use cases, multiple ways to look at it. But a very high level differentiation for an artificial intelligence is whether it is wide or whether it is deep, right? When you call it wide, which is a strongly typed AI kind of a situation, is something like a driving of a car in a road, right? So you will have a lot of passenger, you will have a lot of traffic. Some of them are automatically guided, some of them are not. Suddenly, for a country like India, people might be driving wrong side. And when you are designing a artificial intelligence enabled car or a driver, right? He has to take care of all these nuances, not only go by the rules, but also understand the nuances of a human mind. So it's a very strong AI use case, very difficult to do. A weak AI use case is typically which has a narrow focus but can go deep, right? So your personal assistants, right? Your personal assistants can answer questions that you have, and we kind of help you if you ask something, convert your speech to text and reply back in a speech manner, right? So it's a very deep use case, something which we called as a weak AI, right? But let's see what are some of the practical applications, like just like the Descript video. Some of these applications you will see in the daily life, right? One of the top things that have started in last few years, and I don't know if you have heard about these details in media or not, but today the movies that you watch are based on the algorithms, right? They are not only created because you like they are not only played to you because you like them. They are actually created today because a certain set of people will like it, right? So imagine a scenario where at the point of script writing, right? Movie is a very expensive business. So at a point of script writing, whether the actors are the right actors for it, can the audience relate to them, based on the user preferences, the locations for the movies are automatically picked. And then there are companies whose whole business today is to predict the box office collections of a movie based right on these parameters, like based on the script, based on the actors, based on the location. They can kind of give you what could be a box office collection. Now these algorithms are not yet there, like they are like 50% or even less than that. That's the kind of accuracy that these algorithms have today. but they are always improving, right? So as they are improving, you will start seeing the usage of these more and more. And if you use Netflix, for example, it bottles down to what should it play next as you just finished a movie, right? Imagine it going down, a path a little bit more where, uh, you know, they also know what to make next, not only play next. So they are in a business of creating content, and they are using all these data points to actually shape up the whole industry, as you know. Uh, Other prominent area which all of you must have, I'm sure, during IPL or cricket matches specifically, is the advent of companies like Hotstar. So in the traditional advertising business, if you do it on a World Cup matches or before that, right? You did not had a context of what users are doing and what is actually happening in the match, right? What happens today, based on AI, is a Zomato coupon would automatically come up when somebody hits a six, or let's say Dhoni scores a half century. Automatically, there would be a coupon code for a specific location for a specific audience, which can say that, hey, 50% off on your next order, or 60% off on your next order by Zomato. And you could actually see it today. And this one not only gives you a right brand visibility at the right time, but also you can target specific demographics, because now you know where is the video being played, the location through your browser, who is watching the video, and what are their preferences. So that's the power of bringing together all these data and driving marketing through it, right? Something which we have never seen before in the market. And so much so that, right, a lot of times you will think that you wear the clothes that you like, okay, but what really is happening behind the scene is, if you see different programs, and I have a link here, but if you just Google for Mintra's Rapid Team, right, what they have done essentially is they have started understanding what kind of patterns and designs are most liked by the people, right, and what category. And what these computer algorithms have started doing is they have started designing. So there is no human person designing these shirts or t-shirts anymore, right? So Rapido brands, and there are multiple other brands that Mintra has launched, and what they essentially do is they just understand the usage of multiple people, design the cloth, and what used to take like 2 to 3 months to set up a new collection, today these the computers just push the data to the tailors, right, and they can design, or they can actually stitch directly the cloths within 2 to 3 days instead of like 2 to 3 month cycle. So imagine, fashion today is fast fashion. So imagine the pace at which they are able to kind of move up and move together and kind of run with it, right? It's unparalleled, never before seen in the world. So another very, very specific and very, very difficult use cases, right? There are so many sport events happening in the world, right? Or there are just so many events happening in the world today. You cannot have reporters everywhere. Like, there are multiple ways to do it. You could have like citizen journalists, which somebody started India a few years back, where anybody can kind of come and report and stuff. But at the same point of time, what also happened was, Washington Post started using this software called Heliograph, which essentially does what it like you don't really have to have reporter at any event. It automatically summarizes the game, creates in content, and push it on live to the Washington Post, right? And it also is able to kind of give you a real time update on what is going on in the event, ball by ball, speech by speech, right? So that's the kind of stuff which is helping masses move or cater to a lot of people who could have or would have missed to the events that they like, and making sure that those events are streamed kind of real time to the people, right? And there are multiple more use cases, but I think one important one to touch upon recently that you might have seen or heard about is the DRDO at Atman software, right? So a typical idea of during a COVID-19 pandemic, speed was everything, right? You really had to kind of go in there and quickly kind of uh, you know attend the right you know uh, percent. Otherwise, because we had lack of healthcare facilities, they were pushed to their boundaries. If you misdiagnose somebody, it could not only impact his health, but the impact of it would take the bed off from somebody who really needs him, right? So DRDO quickly came up with a software which will analyze the X-ray images from multiple people uh, who might have had COVID before and who are normal people, and quickly kind of gives you an idea whether he is a COVID-related patient or not, right? And if somebody is kind of sick, they would be able to kind of have a much more specific isolation and treatment for them, and also confirm it with an RT-PCR test, right? So instead of waiting for days, this brings down the time to diagnose a person to mere seconds. So that's the power of AI that we are talking about today. So this is how AI is actually saving millions of lives. Like some of the use cases that you saw before was more around business centric and how to drive consumerism. This is an area where we are actually making an impact by saving people's life every second of the day, right? So again, like there are multiple use cases detecting skin cancers, faster eye health detection based on again AI patterns and parameters. One more very interesting use case is helping insurance companies design better, cheaper products. So somebody who has good driving history, never overspeeds, always never breaks a red light or something, they could have a cheaper premium or a right size product for them, right? And somebody who is prone to kind of making these mistakes, they could have a higher premium charge for them. And all this is about getting the right data from the right stuff. Like there was this company in US called Progressive. Decades back they had a plan, and I think some of it is translating into India today, where they uh, put a device in your car as you're driving around, and whoever kind of avails that device, they give them a steep discount. And what they essentially do is they kind of not only monitor your stuff, but you become the data collection place for other cars in your vicinity about what is going on. So of course it did not have any PI information, but just used to understand what are the traffic conditions in an area, how many people jump the cars, and all of that. So really, really good use of artificial intelligence to design products, right? But if you see, these are the multiple areas that AI is making impact today, right? Cyber crimes are something that is, at the top of their mind, specifically during COVID. Education today is driven by AI. Credit card detection, right? So everything is run on prime numbers, right? So the brute force algorithm. How do you kind of detect if somebody is making a fraud transaction, right? For example, today, if you and I had that experience, so I can tell you, if you are in US and you are traveling in the same day to 2 or 3 cities, and you make transaction on all of those cities, they will automatically block your card, thinking that this card has been used at multiple places, and that is why it might have been a phished card. So they will kind of block it automatically, and then you will have to essentially call back your bank and say, hey, I was flying to Detroit via New York from Atlanta, and that is why I ended up kind of swiping the card at 3 different places, and then they will unblock it. So that is how they are avoiding the credit card detections or the fraud detections, right? So AI practically is making impact everywhere, right? Azerbaijan, recently had a war that what they won over drones, right? So absolutely anywhere and everywhere that you see today is impacted by AI. Okay, but how do you get started, right? It's a very lucrative field. There are a lot of novel use cases. The use cases will only increase. So how do you kind of get started in an area like this, right? What does it take? So all of this is around problem solving. Are you good at solving problems? Are you good at finding the signal from the noise, separating the the bad data from the good data, make sense out of it? There are a lot of places, like we are in a world where we have so many data coming in from so many different systems. Can we kind of shape it from there? Okay, so three important things are there, and specifically for folks like you who are just starting on their career, which is curiosity, persistence, and expertise, right? So you should be very curious. You should always ask questions about stuff, right? So when somebody throws a data point at you, right, you should always ask them, like, how does this data point come through, right? Anybody can drop a data point like the vaccine effectiveness is only 60% to 70%, but what does that mean, right? Does that mean that only 60% of people would not get COVID, or what is it, right? So every time you think about numbers, you should think about how does that number is driven, right? What does it mean in a practical sense of it? Like, is it a probability, is it an absolute number, right? So when somebody says that every if you toss a coin, right, 50% probability it lands heads and it lands tails, right? So should you bet on it that you can you bet $100 or $10,000 on a coin cost? It depends on, of course, your your risk taking abilities, but probability does not mean that in the actual world it will happen, right? So there could be a case where 10 coin drops will at one shot be all tails. The probability is less, but it can happen to you, right? So if there is a circumstance, or if there is a outlier, right, you would not bet 1 crore on 10 tails. You should not bet it, right? It could happen. The probability is less, but if it happens, it will kind of wipe you out, right? So think about it from that perspective. Be always curious about numbers, right? uh, it's a very difficult space, as you can see. The whole idea around driving cars, or understanding or overdubbing somebody's voice, right? So you have to be very persistent about it. You cannot just drop your guard and say, I'll just go about it, right? And of course, as you spend a lot of time understanding the stuff, you will start creating or getting expertise. Like, it could be expertise in an area or a technical area like Python, or where you're plotting the data, where you're segregating the data, or it could be a functional expertise like you are a healthcare expert or something like that, right? So both of that matters, and both of it comes into play. But what does it mean to be a data scientist? So as I said, like, it's a combination of a lot of stuff. It is computer science, which a lot of you guys are exposed to today. Maths and statistics. A lot of us have grown with maths and statistics areas in India, right? And business and domain expertise, right? So you kind of mixed in, juxtapose all of it, right? So machine learning sits somewhere here between computer science and data, like maths. Business and maths bring data analysis, whereas the traditional softwares that were built were primarily on computer science and business domains, right? And conglomeration of all of that brings together data science into picture. Okay. So, there are different languages for data science. At a certain point of time, this is a little dated data. The data keeps changing, right? So, for example, if you see, Julia is a little bit more popular these days, rather than, let's say, being at only 1%. But this data keeps changing. The program languages keeps changing. Python is today ruling the world because it is easy to use and it has an ecosystem behind it. But I would say, like, you can never go wrong if you pick up one of the more popular ones. But what is really important for all of you guys to kind of concentrate and bet on is, how do you kind of showcase and learn practical skills in developing anything, right? So things have rapidly changed in last 10 years, specifically in this area, right? earlier, at least when I was graduating, let's say almost like 15, 16 years back, uh, you know, the students were not, you know, we were thought about somebody who are smart, who have good analytical skills, who can speak well. But in today's world, given the kind of sophistication and the software is available to every one of us, companies look for practical experiences, and do you have a portfolio to showcase, right? So how do you kind of gain some real world experience, right? How do you kind of have a portfolio of projects so that you can showcase to prospective employers? I think that has become a real hinge in today's world to differentiate yourself from rest of the folks, right? And you have so many platforms today. You have GitHubs, which are public repos. Anybody can come and kind of look at their codes. They can check out what is your contribution frequencies. There are open source projects that you can partner. There are websites like Kaggle where you can do some competitions. But what is also important is that you guide the right experience, which country or which a corporate or an industry demands, right? You have to have the right mentor support and somebody recommending it, right? Unless you have a mix of it, it's really difficult to stand out, specifically when you're competing with, let's say, the top 10 or top 20% of the IT world companies, right? It is really important for you guys to have the right industry experience by doing the projects which the industry demands. Have a showcase, or showcase page or a portfolio page, whether it is a GitHub link or whatsoever, to kind of showcase from it, and the right mentor support who can kind of guide you. Like, if you are making a mistake, right, and all of us learn by mistake. What is really important, to what differentiates a professional from a normal hobby guy, is that a professional guy always have a mentor, and that mentor will kind of guide him, correct him based on their own experiences, on what is the right way to do these things, right? Whether you are even writing a basic sorting code, right? If somebody from an industry who has like 5 or 10 years of experience come back and kind of guides you there, it makes a really important impact on how you shape up your thinking. Okay, so never miss a chance when you get an opportunity to kind of work with right mentors, have the real world experience on some of the projects, and always try and create a portfolio for yourself. It also helps you to drive a lot of conversations with the industry folks. Okay. So I had this short presentation. Any questions that you guys have that you want to ask right now? Okay, so I just quickly wanted to kind of again introduce ourselves. Some of our folks are on the chat with you guys for getting your help on registration. So take a minute to register if you guys have already not. But I just wanted to kind of introduce ourselves. So we are a career tech company called Ignite, and we are run by folks from NITs, IITs, and IIMs, right? Who have been in industry for 15, 20 years. I personally, am with Microsoft, and I've been in tech industry for 15 years now. And our aim is to help contribute back to the student community that we are part of, right? And our idea is to we are not in a business of teaching you guys. We are purely in a space where we want to give you real world experience, and how experience as close to the industry as possible, where you guys can come and get your hands dirty by coding, and get mentorship from other industry experts from their area, whether it is a Python project or a data science project, or whether it is like a DSA project. We want you guys to get a right experience or right feedback from an industry expert, right? So the idea is that as a career tech platform, we give you an experience to learn coding in real world experiences, and backed by industry mentors who can guide and shape you up, right? And we provide help with multiple facets like internships, jobs, even at higher education. If some some of you are interested in helping you guys find the right college from your perspective, right? And please visit ignite.in if you have if you just want to check out some of the courses that we are offering. So these are the current set of projects that we are starting in a bit, right? Uh, we already had a few of your colleagues from NMIT who kind of did some of the projects. Maybe I'll take a minute to see if Monish, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm.
Okay. So Monish was one of the students who was working with us on the Python and DS project. So Monish, like maybe just take a minute and give your candid feedback about like just talk about your experiences so that others might be able to kind of use the data points and see if it excites them.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning to all. I'm Monish. Is my voice audible?
Yeah, Monish. We can hear you, Monish.
Can anyone confirm it? Is my voice
Yeah,
audible?
yeah, it's audible, Monish. You can speak out.
Thank you, ma'am. Once again, good morning to all. I'm Monish. I'm pleased to share my experience with Ignite. Me and my other two teammates got an opportunity to work on a data science project under our mentor, Nikhil. Our project was mainly focused on natural language processing, where we had to do some popularity analysis of a given key phrase. Like you give a keyword and we'll check how the popularity of that keyword has gone on the internet. This project was very different from what I had done previously. Like consider normally in a data science project or an ML project you do, we go to some repository like Kaggle or UCI and get a data set of our interest and start building our ML models over it. But this project was quite unique for me because there was no data set available for this. We had to do web scraping and web crawling to get the data. So it made us understand more about our data and how we want to use it. Like you're gonna value the data more if you like get the data by yourself. And our mentor also acted as a client to us. Like whenever we used some technology or some library or some business tool, we had to explain him why we had to use that particular product, like that chosen thing, and regarding something like execution time, accuracy, and how our data is being handled. So with this approach, we learned a lot about the technology or the library or the measure which we used. This is the biggest takeaway for me. And last thing about our project would be that consider most of the data science project we do, or at least I did before, like we used I used to do it something on like some spider IDE or Jupyter notebook, and I used to show the visualization there itself. Like that was it. My data mining project was also that much only. So but here it was very different. We had to build a front end model like a web application. The visualization what we had built using Matplotlib or a Seaborn was different. For front end we had to go for Plotly. Like because of this I got an exposure for many other tools and the communication. Like when I mentioned two other teammates, like we never talked before, we had to go like reach out and stuff. One was good at web application, I was good at backend coding. So these kinds of things I learned it. So with this web application, our mentor you guided us that like it isn't just a project, it should be like a product, so that you can call yourself like I made this. So this is like it was quite different and quite hard also. Like consider like getting a front end is very difficult. You can do that this project or that project in ML or this model or that model, but when you start going for a front end it will be different. So this is where we had a lot of trouble and learned a lot from it. So this was about my project. On final note from my side is that I was happy to be on this journey for 2 months, and I hope you people can make use of it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Munish, for sharing your perspective. So yeah, I think so. Monish was part of the Python and data science project, as you said, right? So he was working on creating a real project on Python, using Django for front end, and doing a sentiment analysis of fields, right? A couple of other projects that we are offering is the data structures and algorithms, which is primarily understanding the process of decoding or how do you solve DSA problems, right? It is really, really important for anybody who wants to get into computer science as a future field. And the last one is on the building APIs, which is around how do you set up microservices, how do you leverage microservice architectures through APIs. As you see, all the world today is moving towards moving away from single point of failure and into the microservice architecture, right? So API is a building block for any modern application today, whether it's a mobile app or a web page. It ends up, each button ends up calling a different backend service through APIs, right? Ritu, if you're there, do you want to also talk about your experience? Rituraj?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rituraj Pandey from third year, 6M. I was a part of the data structures and algorithms project. The reason why I joined this project was because DSA, the importance of DSA is known to everyone. And since I'm preparing for my placements, I realized how important DSA is. So I wanted to be a part of this project. So I registered for it and got selected. And I got introduced to my mentor, Gopal sir, who had a nice, amazing layout planned for the duration of 8 weeks. We started out with some easy problems and something like recursion and sorting and searching. And then gradually we picked up pace. We, solved more complex problems involving backtracking, dynamic programming, etc. So that was a nice graph in terms of complexity and level of the assignments that we got. Then, the important thing about DSA is that you just don't need to know the data structures and the particular algorithm. You need to know the applications of it. So most of the assignments, they were application based. So that really helped in, solidifying the concept that we learned throughout the project. Also, one important aspect of this project is automated testing. So till now, we were only known to manual testing. We give inputs, we get outputs, and each time we execute the code, we have to repeat the process. So in this project, we learned about designing extensive test cases so that any number of times we run our code, we can just, solve all the test cases in one go. So that was one more important thing that I learned in this project. All in all, it was a great experience, very informative, very learning, and it's totally worth it to join the project and devote time for it. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for sharing your perspective. So yeah, I mean, these are fellow students of your college who had some experience, and we just wanted you guys to hear it directly from the horse's mouth to some of the experiences that they that they had working with us.
Students, please do the registration. The registration link is given there, and even the teachers, class teachers have sent you the registration. It's mandatory. All of you, please do the registration, and inform your friends also to do the registrations. Okay? Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody. Do you want to?
Yeah, thanks, Nirmal. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of the presentation. Anybody has any questions, regarding artificial intelligence that we talked about, or on the projects that we are offering, or something else, like, feel free to kind of let me know.
One quick thing is, in the registration forms, you would be having a Discord channel.
I think, Madhu, your voice is breaking. Let me close it. Yeah. So, as you guys are filling your registration forms, students,
free to join a Discord channel, where
Voice is
you
breaking.
can
yeah, I'll just let it know.
get updates on what are the events, or new project, everything happening in Ignite. And
Hey, Madhu, sorry, your voice was breaking. So I'll repeat it, folks. So as you are doing registrations, you will also find that we have a closely knit community on Discord, where students and fellow students like yourself who can join and participate. The community is totally free, and we also do a lot of events like Ask Me Anything. So, some of the events that might help you in your future placements, or just trying to master a specific language and stuff. The community is totally free of cost. As you go through this registration link that you see in the chat, right, you will see the link for the Discord channel, and feel free to join it. We are actually starting more contest hackathons, more informational sessions with senior folks in the industry to understand what does it take, or understand and learn from their journeys on how they kind of matured and graduated from a student to a professional. So I will encourage you guys to leverage the opportunity, join that community, and we would be happy to kind of engage more and help you guys in your journey from graduating from college to getting into your next step in the career ladder.
Thank you, Sumit, for
also,
this
Sumit, can you
information.
just update them on? Hello.
Yeah.
One last thing is about the next project dates, Sumit.
Yeah. So we are starting the next projects on 31st of July, and feel free to kind of look at our website ignite.in and explore some projects. If you have any questions, reach back to us. You will find contact information there itself, or even talk to some of your fellow students, like Rituraj and Monish, and some of the other folks are also here in the call. So look around. We are starting the next batch very soon, and we hope that you guys would be able to leverage the opportunity and take away something from it. Thanks, Madhu.
Thank you. I request students, please do the registrations. It's mandatory, and inform other students also. Some might have left early because of class. Please inform all the students, ABC section students, to get registered by this link. So later you can have further events, and or you can interact with these people. So registration is mandatory. Please do that. All the 4th semester students. If some of the students have not attended, inform them also, so that they'll get registered and get benefited with this. Okay, I request all the students, please go through the registration. Okay, thank you so much. I think we can end now the session.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Nimala.
ma'am. Thank you, students, and thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madhu. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
All the best. Bye bye.